And now I present to you Sandee and Al Burger. Al and Sandee Burger complement each other so well that it seems almost inevitable that their company, Bugs Burger Bug Killers, would grow. Al, the dreamer, wanted to own one of the largest independently owned pest management firms in the country. Sandee, his wife and the financial brains of the operation, made sure the company would have the money to fulfill those dreams. Together, Al and Sandee expanded their company, which they founded in 1960, into 44 states and had indeed created one of the largest independently owned companies by the time they sold the business in 1986. Along the way, their innovative sales and marketing techniques, including the famous Bugs Burger Bug Killers guarantee, changed the way the industry did business forever.
Brother calls from Miami and says, you better get down here fast. Mom doesn't have more than 48 hours to live. So I got in my car with my father and we packed up a few suitcases and things and we left. We drove 27 hours straight down to Miami, and that was the beginning. My mother was in the hospital, and as I was about to get out of the car, my brother Sandee, Sanford, meets me at the car door, and he says, "Don't get out." He says, "I'm going to give you a name." He had a spray gun in his hand. He says, "I'm going to give you a name and an address of a place to go. They've got ants." And the complaint call. And you go and treat it. I said, "I don't know where it is." He says, "It's about 6 blocks from here." So I said, "All right." And I said, "What do I do when I get there?" And he says, pump up the spray gun, the B&G, and you clear the thing, then you go around and you spray wherever you see the ants, you spray the ants. And I says, "That's it." He says, "That's it." I said, "Okay." So I go there and I find this house, I spray the ants. And that was my total training with Pan American Exterminating. All right, it was just that at the side of the car. And
but this is an aside. But who did you meet that same night?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was this young chick that was standing outside the house waiting. And I came out and I said, "Who are you?" And she says, "My name is Sandee." And I said, "Sandee?" She says, "Yeah." She says, "I'm here I'm going out with your brother." I said, "Oh my God." And that was her. And so like the first night, that's when I met her, you know. And
what made you decide to stay?
What made me decide to stay?
Right. You didn't turn around and go back to Albany, you stayed here.
Well, my brother offered me a fabulous job. Yeah. He says, "Look," he says, "I got 29 customers, 39 now." It was about a year after he had bought the company. And he says, "I got about 39 customers." And he says, "I'm going to pay you $15 a week."
The day Al came up with his guarantee will long live in his memory. During a visit to a fancy restaurant, Al pulled back the gorgeous drapes that covered the walls and discovered cockroaches, thousands of them, crawling up and down the walls. At the direction of the manager, he came back the following Monday and uttered the following words: "I guarantee I will eliminate every roach, rat, and mouse from the premises." And with those words, the guarantee was born.
So at 6:30 in the morning, I show up at the restaurant. I go in the back door, and I meet this young man who was a steward there. And I tell him I says, "I'm here to look for the cockroaches." He says, "Well, we got more than roaches, we got mice and we got rats." And he says, "Come on, I'll show you." So he takes me all over the place, and I find thousands and thousands of roaches crawling on everything. And so then about a half hour later, 7 o'clock, the guy Bill Safian was the general manager, comes in and he says, well, what'd you find? I says, this place is crawling. I don't even know how you stay open. Right? Let alone the health department's letting me be here. So he says, well, what can you do for me? He says, I can guarantee to totally eliminate every roach and rat and mouse in this property. He says, show me, where does it say that? I says, it doesn't, I just made it up. And with that, he says, well, what do you mean you made it up? I says, well, I just made it up, that's my guarantee. And he says, well, that's nice saying it, but you gotta put it in writing. So I took and I got a hold of a napkin. Now this isn't the real napkin, but
we should have said it, we really should have.
Anyway, it took me 2 weeks. I had my serviceman working with me, and it's to clean out the problem. And then they were amazed, and then they got the Embers to call, referred, and so I sold the Embers for like $450 a month. And he wanted to know why the hell his place was even smaller than Chandler's, and why was he so much more? I says, because I screwed myself and I didn't charge Chandler's enough money. I says, but next year they'll start paying more money. So he says, all right, so go ahead. This is important that we get rid of the problem. All right? Then the next thing you know, he gets me into all the major restaurants on the beach. Within a month, right, we had all the Wolfies and the Rascal Houses and Chandler's and every steakhouse you can imagine up and down Miami Beach.
And then from there we went to Orlando, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, it's enough to cover Miami and South Florida. We were doing Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Al had bigger things on his mind that I never dreamt of, but he's a dreamer.
Sandee says the key to the long-term success of their business was that they treated each member of their teams with the respect and love they would show their own family members.
Of our sale, we had given about 25% of our sales, of the price of the sale, we gave back as bonuses to our employees based on length of service to the company and level of where they worked. And because we felt we could not have gotten where we had gotten without them. And if nothing else, I would like to pass on to other people to treat their employees fairly, and they will treat you fairly.
For their revolutionary business model and success in the pest management industry, we would like to present to you Al and Sandee Burger, proud members of the Hall of Fame class of 2009.